Welcome back to the 4M Ranch channel. Today I'm going to go over a little bit on our Great Plains drill. I got some repairs to make on it that we had at the end of the spring planting season that we had happen. One of the issues is these stabilizer cylinders. At the end of last summer, when I rebuilt this, these stabilizer cylinders from Great Plains were about $100 a piece, and I just didn't have that extra money to put in to buy two of them, because it'd be like around $200 and some to get these. So I had some Rancho shocks that I already had. So I went ahead and threw these on there. I knew they'd probably get us by for a little bit, but as you can tell here, the body of the shock is actually quite a bit longer, from basically about right here to here. So what happened was, these longer shocks, they mount here and here, and when you unlock this with the Coulter toolbar package, what it allows it to do is, if you make slight turns in the field, these Coulters go, and then it allows the drill back here to rotate on the back of this drill hitch. So as you make slight turns, the disc openers can follow the trail of these Coulters and not overlap and get off. So these allow this to cushion and kind of turn. But so what caused the issue was, one, these were being a little bit longer, and when you had a full hopper here with seed, it's really heavy, and when you're going and you lift the drill up out of the ground to make your turn to start the next row, this thing really gets to swaying back and forth. And what was happening was, since these were so long, they were just coming forward and ramming the end of the stop, and it actually finally hit it hard enough, it bent the end of the shock and causing it to blow out. So without the shocks, the drill, that one over there is still good. It didn't blow it out, but it blew this side out. And what happens was, with that shock being blown out, it causes the drill to want to pull crooked on the back side. So we finally just went ahead and ordered these factory stabilizer shocks from Great Plains. They are actually Monroe shocks, but if you look the number up, you can't find it online, which is kind of weird. So I don't know, maybe if I have to replace them again, maybe the parts store or something can find them somehow. So anyway, I'm going to be replacing these today, and also I got a couple parts to replace on the openers, so go ahead and get these replaced, and then we'll talk a little bit about those. Alright, I got this first stabilizer shock made up. So you got your bolt here, and then you do a 5/8 flat washer, 5/8 flat washer, and then a jam nut. And you do that on both ends, just like that. And then you mount it there, like that. And then you take a 5/8 lock nut, and it goes on each one of these. So what this allows for is to kind of secure the nut to this little pod right here, and it kind of makes it like a little mount. This kind of like a stud. The bolt just secures it here, then just leaves the top part so it can pivot back and forth between here. So alright, now I'm going to do the other side. Alright, so that's that part. Now let's take a look at what we got to do to the openers. So I got one of these slide, I don't exactly know what they're called. I think they're like slide Turons or something like that. Well, anyway, this one you can tell it's gapped. So, there's a lot of play in it. And here's some I replaced last year here with the new bolt, and then one of them I got to put a new castle nut on here. It's missing it, so I just got a cotter pin all wrapped up around there to kind of hold it. So I replaced the nut on a couple of those, and then it should be ready to go. Grease it up, and I'll oil the chains. Alright, so this is one of the press wheel adjustment bolts that I had to refix here. One of these new screw rods that go in and thread into the slide here. And then once you do that, you take your castle nut, and it goes on the end like this. So then what I do is I take my 11/16 wrench, put on the castle nut, and I'm going to tighten it until I can get the cotter pin in. Alright, so this is what it looks like after it's been installed. So what this allows for is this bolt here to spin, and that holds it in place down there, and it allows it to spin through this slide here, and this slide moves from A to G, and that's what gives you your depth. of how far your press wheel will let your blades go in the ground. So each one of those is a certain depth, so G being the shallowest and A being the deepest. So it's very important that you keep these in good working order, because if your nuts get messed up to where they won't hold on, then this thing will vibrate and back off as you're drilling, which is what happened to us on a couple of these row units, and it will not allow it to get the right depth that needs to be. So it's very important that you keep an eye on those. The next one I got to do is this one over here. I got to replace the whole slide deal there. It's going to be a little bit more in depth, so I'll go ahead and get started on that one. Alright, so once you get your adjustment rod out, go ahead and pull it out, or the nut off. You pull your adjustment rod, just unscrew it all the way out like that, and then you'll take your press wheel, kind of lift up on it and slide it to the very front, and then you can just get it in that front notch and you'll be able to slide that right out. So as you can see how worn that is, it's pretty bad. So there's a new one on the left and the old one on the right. Now when you reinstall this, you'll see that there is a slot part on one end. Now this end is the indicator line for the center of your A through G markings, so you want to make sure you install it, this being on the left side. So there, you just slide it in like that. Take your adjustment rod, it's kind of hard to do one-handed. Again, you go ahead and put your castle nut on, just like we did on the last one. So we got the new nut installed, and got the new slide installed. That pretty much wraps up all this. It's always good to keep a few extras of these nuts and a couple extras of these on hand. So, yeah, that's called the screw adjustment rod, your cotter pins, your castle nuts, and then your this is the slide turning. So anyway, that pretty much wraps it up on how you change those. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If I can't help you, I'll find somebody that can. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.